Hello and welcome to CBC Arts Exhibitionists. I'm your host, Amanda Paris. It's been a bizarre and scary time, but in the midst of all the doom, gloom, and uncertainty, Canadian artists continue to create and innovate. And for the next 30 minutes, you'll get a sneak peek at some of their work. You'll see paper artwork that will make you wonder if Cybèle Young is an actual magician, an illustrator using pigeons to express her gratitude to essential workers, and you may get inspired to try your own self-portrait after watching Stephen Robinson be bad at art.
I don't know what happened there.
Spoiler alert, he's actually not that bad. I hope you're ready for 30 minutes of mystifying and wondrous art. I know I am. This is CBC Arts Exhibitionists. I watched this next doc with my jaw on the floor. I kid you not, it is truly astounding to see the things that Cybèle Young can make out of paper. Telephone, check. Glasses, check. An outlet plug? She can even make that. She can also make thread out of Japanese paper, which she uses to then build her creations. Take a look at this literal magician who is about to blow your mind.
I work with paper because it's not precious. I work with paper because it's readily available. It has a tactile quality that really appeals to me because I can manipulate it in any way I want. I can work with it in any scale. I can burn it, I can squish it, and it just never feels wrong. It's like a playmate. I'm Cybèle, and I'm an artist. I have worked primarily with paper for a long time, 25 years. More recently, I've been working a lot with film and some almost performative works, but everything I do really is rooted in paper and working with paper three-dimensionally. Most of my life I've been working in miniature. I think that there's a psychological component, and in that you can control your world. You can create a sort of Lilliputian world that you can project yourself into, and it can be anything you want. And I do want my audience to be able to do that as well. I want them to step into it. There's an invitation with miniature to step into a world because it's mimetic. It's not your own scale. So it invites your imagination. The piece I'm creating today is another version of a piece I've created a few times before that involves a transformation from an umbrella to a jellyfish-like creature. So today we're creating the final stage of, I think it's going to be a 3 to 5 stage piece from the umbrella to the creature. We're creating the final creature, which is the largest, most dramatic part of the metamorphosis. I use paper thread for just about everything. In the traditional Japanese craft, it's called shifu, but they would use water and have the natural sizing, I guess, in the material that it would hold it together for weaving, actually. But I need this stiff and controllable for things like spokes and tendrils, etc. For the miniature sculptures, I use only Japanese paper. Artists have been working with it. Rembrandt used it, and those prints that he did with Japanese paper way back when are still in perfect condition, and they only get better with age, and there's a depth and there's a yielding of possibility because Japanese paper never fights you, it works with you. So the smaller I get, it's game.
Awesome.
This can actually be really expressive because they can go any which way, and so I'll sort of draw a line of glue. Paper will always be at the core of what I do. The elements of time-based work, of performance work, of different scaled work are more and more focal in my practice. The ability to destroy it is as wonderful as the ability to make anything out of it. It's just paper. I need to know that I can destroy it as easily as I can turn it into something.
Is it satisfying to like?
Oh yeah, so good.
Hi everyone, my name is Lynn VanderMeulen. I'm your exhibitionist in residence this week. I'm sharing a project called Beyond the Starry Mountain. It's been ongoing for a few years now. It kind of takes a lot of different forms, originally 2D collages. It also has existed as installation art pieces and augmented reality applications, which you can see here. And the sound in the video that you'll see is done by Nicholas Fields.
Coming up, meet the illustrator reminding us all to be thankful for essential workers, one pigeon at a time. Emmie Tsumura is an illustrator who's decided that while in self-isolation, she is going to dedicate her time to thanking the essential workers for helping us all to survive. Her method? Street art. In this edition of COVID Residencies, Emmie self-tapes her process and shows us the giant pigeons she's chosen as her symbol of gratitude. Take a look.
Hi everyone, I'm Emmie. I'm an illustrator and visual artist in Toronto. I've been self-isolating since the middle of March. I'm hoping to create work that captures this moment, and in the future when we emerge from this crisis and we're thinking about creating the world that we want to live in, this will serve as a reminder to how important these essential workers are and how grateful we were during this time.
This is the No Frills on Alberta Street, just north of St. Clair and Oakwood. This is where I installed the first pigeon, and the pigeons are here too. Hey guys.
This is the table I work at, and today I'll be creating a giant version of one of these little pigeons, and later on this afternoon I'll install it in the east end of the city. This is the enlarged print of the pigeon I drew. So now we laminate. Just heading to the east end to install the next pigeon. I think artists are doing an amazing job of documenting the pandemic, and I just want to help to build this archive. I hope that maybe at some point in the future, when the crisis is over, that when people walk around and see pigeons, it might be a visual reminder of how grateful we were for essential workers at this time and how important they continue to be in our society. Thank you. Stay safe.
Coming up, meet Steven. He's bad at art, but that's not going to stop him from trying or us from watching.
Hi, I'm Steven, and I'm bad at art. But even though I'm bad at art, I also believe that through deliberate practice, persistence, and a willingness to fail, you can get better at pretty much anything. And over the next 10 days, I'm gonna try and get better at self-portraits. The goal of the next 10 days is simple. Experiment with a bunch of different art forms, figure out which one works best for me, and try to make a self-portrait that represents me most accurately. But I don't paint, I don't draw, and I don't sculpt, and when I do, it's not very good, so I think this is gonna be interesting. Also, it has never been easier to create a self-portrait. As of 2018, there are over 282 million selfies uploaded to Instagram, all their own digital self-portraits. So if it's so easy to create a self-portrait with this, why take the time to paint or sculpt one?
I think there is inherent value in spending time with something, which is actually quite rare in contemporary culture, which is really all about immediacy.
This is Cara Gurry. She is a visual artist based in Vancouver, BC, who paints stunning work, many of which are self-portraits.
So I think there's considerable value in taking the time to step back from that and to question why it is you're making something, what your motivation is, and what media perhaps could best communicate what it is you're trying to say.
What can I do to succeed at this?
You have to kind of set some type of goal for yourself and use that as a starting point. But that goal should be allowed to evolve. So in some senses, if you see growth within yourself, that could be viewed as a success.
This is very weird. It's interesting how you start looking at yourself differently when you're trying to draw yourself. Ugh, I don't know if I like it. My strategy right now is just to try and make as much as I can non-judgmentally, and then maybe start improving. It's very difficult not to be judgmental. I mean, I think it was looking okay until I added the eyes, and now it just kind of looks, yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, well, this is the second portrait that I got finished, and actually, I think it turned out okay. I don't think that pencil and graphite is gonna be the way to go. Today I'm gonna try working with pastels. I really have no idea. Do I need water with this? I think what's interesting about this is that it kind of forces me to think about the most defining characteristics of my face. All right, so these are the different self-portraits that I was able to get done today. I don't know what happened there. And then these are the last ones. Today I'm gonna try and make a self-portrait out of macaroni. I haven't seen any tutorials on how to do this online. I just think it could be really fun. Honestly, I did not expect this to turn out well, but I think it actually looks pretty decent. Today's day 4, and I'm going to attempt something I've never done before, sculpting my face with clay. I'm assuming this is gonna be incredibly difficult, but who knows? I really like the physicality of this, of just picking up stuff and sticking it to things. I had the most fun with this today by far, and I feel like this is the closest representation of me that I've gotten. I think I'm gonna focus on sculpting with clay for the next 6 days and see how good of a sculpture I can make. I've decided to put off working on my own face for now, and instead today I'm just gonna follow a tutorial where a guy makes a tiny head with this clay, just so I can start to understand how to work with it and figure out some of the main strategies that people use when they're sculpting heads. Okay, so I think taking a break from doing the self-portraits and just working on making a sculpture of a human head was a good idea. But also, after finishing this project, I realized that my big chunky head that I was putting together totally isn't gonna work. So I'm gonna have to recreate that and then basically spend the rest of the time that I have on this project trying to make that sculpture look like me. Okay, today is the 10th and final day of my self-portrait. With the stage that this guy is at, today it's either gonna look like me at the end of it or like an alien baby. Pretty awesome. As far as takeaways go for this episode, I think the one that sticks out to me the most is how much easier it is to get good at an art form that you enjoy. And I really enjoyed working with clay. I thought it was really intuitive and I could lose myself in it for probably 2 or 3 hours, where with graphite and pastels, I was kind of like counting down the time until I was done. And my second takeaway with this episode is I had no idea how impactful eyeballs are. I can get the entire shape of a face done really, really well and then mess up the eyeballs and it looks like an alien. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed and we'll see you in the next video. What do you think?
I think it's cool to see, like, as somebody that came into this with really very little art background, just interesting to see like what you gravitated towards and what you were able to achieve in that time. And I think it does look like you.
Really? Oh, cool.
You can watch Steven being bad at even more art on our website. You can watch him make a ceramic bong.
This is nice.
And even try a watercolor painting of his parents' cat, Crusoe. If there's an artist that you think should be on CBC Arts Exhibitionist, send me a message on social media. Our handle is @CBC Arts. Before we go, check out the trailer for season 3 of our dance series, The Move. This edition, it's all about the kids, and I've got to tell you, they are truly inspiring. So inspiring, in fact, that they've led one mom and her kid to decide to learn every single dance move in the series while they self-isolate. Even if you're not that ambitious, you can still binge watch the entire series this weekend on CBC Gem. Tune in next time for another deep dive into the fascinating work of Canadian artists. Peace.
outside. Dance just completely soothes my soul. Like, I can't even explain it. Gas ain't gunning, force be busting like a NASCAR race car. Feels like murder, grab my burner, about to take 'em out, keep up, pick the pace up. Too much heat, build that pressure. About to go down, go hard, don't give up. Work them feet steps, don't let up. Run to the money stack to the. You just have to focus on every single little detail that you do. Boy,